Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. On today's episode of the podcast, this is episode 5 of 5 from a series that's all about your online coffee store. Today we are talking about knowing your analytics. And this is super important for you to understand the things that we have talked about in previous episodes of this series. We've talked about things like your sales funnel. We've talked about your digital assets and your online real estate. And we've talked about the relationship that all of that has with your branding. And so knowing your analytics is like getting a real life, clear understanding and picture of the outcome of the efforts that you've made. And we're going to dive into what you need to do to get an understanding of that in today's episode of the podcast. Before we get started, a couple of things. The next series is going to be led by Ann Cooper, and that will be episode 206 to 210. And Anne will be talking about beyond the cooling tray. So all of you roasters out there, this is going to be fabulous for you and anyone wanting to be a roaster. Anne is a bona fide badass when it comes to roasting and teaching and consulting with regards to coffee. And so you are in great hands. So she'll be talking beyond the cooling tray and talking about things like data and tips and things that you will need to accumulate to make your roasting life better aside from the actual roasting. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you today is that we have tickets up for sale for our courses that are happening at SCA in Portland. Remember, those courses will be going online if SCA is cancelled. Now, a little insight into conventions being cancelled and how we treat and approach going to these conferences if we are concerned about coronavirus. You may find it interesting to go and check out the Instagram stories for @IMapItForward. I was supposed to be headed to Coffee Fest today in New York, and things didn't go as planned. But I documented the whole thing, not knowing that it was going to turn out the way that it did. I'm going to add it to the highlights under coronavirus. So head to our Instagram and check it out. I think you might find it very interesting. It is an interesting time in the world right now. Anyway, on to today's subject, which is knowing your online analytics and understanding why it's important, what you need to measure, and what you're going to get out of measuring it. So, why are your analytics important? Your analytics are important because it's going to give you a data-driven insight into what the results of the efforts that you're putting into your online marketing are. An example of that, I have a website. I have a podcast, I have an online store, and that's just for Map It Forward, plus socials, plus all of that. On the other side of things, we have for Elixir Specialty Coffee, we have a website, we have socials, we are starting some affiliate programs for that. Now, two very, very different brands that have to be approached very, very differently with regards to the marketing approach. In all of that, I first of all want to know how many people are paying attention to what we're doing. So how many people are paying attention to what's going on with Map It Forward, and how many people are paying attention to what's going on our online store with regards to Elixir. The only way that I can know those things is to either ask people and assume they're going to tell me the truth, and by people I mean customers, or I can go into the back end of the website. So that's the site, the end of the podcast. the behind the scenes part of the website and take a look at the section that's called analytics. Now, Map It Forward uses Squarespace as its website hosting platform, and Elixir uses Shopify. Both of them have different analytics mechanisms, and they are on the website. I prefer to use Google Analytics to make sure that I have a standardized approach to the way that I view the analytics for the website. So what am I looking for? I'm looking to see how many people come to the website. And then I'm looking to see how many people show up and engage in the content. I'll give you a really great example. So we redid the website in the break between the podcast finishing last year and it going back online this year. We redid the website, and we wanted to see if we could create a website that drew more traffic, and we found that there's this one analytic called bounce rate. And now your bounce rate is the rate at which people show up to your website and leave after visiting just one page. So they show up, whatever the page is, if they bounce out of it after just one page, that's the analytic that tracks. Now, we had a very, very high, and that's not good, bounce rate for Map It Forward. And what it meant was that while we were getting traffic to the website and we wanted to increase that, what we wanted to do better at was give people a reason to bounce around to the website and explore the content. The reason we want to do that is because we know that the content's great, but keeping people engaged gives them more familiarity and trust in our brand and what we're creating. Now, I was shocked once I'd done the Google Analytics course and understood what bounce rate meant. I was shocked to think and to see that our bounce rate was up near 92%. So what that meant was that people would show up to the website, look at the piece of content that they were looking for, maybe a podcast episode or a blog, or just go and search and land on our landing page, and then they'd exit the website. So what we ended up doing was being able to move that around. So we added buttons so that people could go from the podcast to the blog. We gave them an option to be able to go to the podcast page and then either go drill deeper into just the Daily Coffee Pro or to the conversations that we have on the Map It Forward podcast. Doing all of these things over the last couple of months, we've noticed that the bounce rate has gone from 92% to somewhere in the order of 47 to 52%, which that means that an average of 1 in 2 people, when they come to the website, don't just stop at the page that they came to. That has resulted in an increase of people consuming our content, and we can track that. We can see exactly where they're going through the website. These analytics have given us a clear understanding, because I was tracking them. We've got a clear understanding of how that has benefited us by going to these new efforts with regards to the marketing that we're doing. So that's the importance of understanding why you need to know what your analytics are, so that you know, so you have a strategy, you know what you're doing with regards to your marketing, you come up with the ideas, you figure out how you're going to execute them. Then what you need to do is figure out what the baseline measurement. So where is, for example, my bounce rate? Where is my bounce rate before I've made any changes? And then start tracking it over the next few months, every month, to see what's going on with that thing that you were trying to improve on. Now, being data-driven is going to give you the opportunity to feel confident and encouraged about your efforts. If you don't see any change, you've got to give it time for all the data to be collected. But knowing and seeing the results of your effort are going to give you a better decision-making basis for how to proceed in the future. So you want to know what your analytics are for your website. You want to know what your analytics are for your socials. You'll notice if you go into the insight section on a lot of your socials, you'll be able to see and gain insight into what's working and what's not working. I want to caution you at this time. Know what you're measuring and why you're measuring it. So we made the decision with regards to Elixir to post less, because we noticed that the more we posted and we're chasing likes or we're chasing shares or we're chasing any of that, it actually didn't result in the conversion. So that's another analytic that you need to track. What's my conversion rate? So I do this thing, whatever it is, to attract a customer. Let's say I post a photo on social media. Now, not every post is about getting sales, but every post is about contributing to your sales funnel through communicating your brand story and bringing people into that sales funnel. Remember, we were talking about when people browse around in your store, if it's a brick and mortar store. Well, if somebody comes to your social media and they're looking through, that's the equivalent of them browsing. That's the first step of your sales funnel. If they are browsing around, you want to give them the option to sell. And what we found was that we were heavily focusing on socials, and socials isn't actually where we get most of our conversions for Elixir. Our mailing list is where we get most of our conversions for Elixir. So while we put in a lot of effort into making sure that the standard of what gets posted on our social media is in alignment with our brand story, our brand concept and culture, we put more effort into our mailing list because that's where we get most of our conversions. And we're currently redoing the optimization of our website. This leads me to the next very important term that you need to understand, which is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is going to be a very challenging concept for pretty much everyone, because it is for everybody in the world. And the reason it's challenging is because although we can understand what it means, we can never actually understand how it works, because the people who create, or the companies that create the algorithms that determine how the concept works, is all secret. So search engine optimization is when you go into a search engine like Google and somebody would type in a phrase. So whatever it is, specialty coffee. Go in there, type specialty coffee. Where does your business rank in Google searches? So to optimize it, you obviously want the number one position. To a good ranking, good, not great, but a good ranking is somewhere in the top 10. We are trying to rate, for example, for specialty coffee for Elixir. Now we rate in the top 40. We used to be 360, excuse me, when I started on the quest of trying to rank higher for specialty coffee. That is an analytic that we are tracking right now. So, and we use a platform called SEMrush to track that. So it's a free platform. You can get the paid version. It is much more expensive than we are ready to pay for yet. We don't understand it enough to understand its capabilities. And until we do, we won't spend the $199 a month to do what it needs to do. And I am also looking for a platform that has AI built into it before I'm prepared to spend money on it. But anyway, tracking your analytics with regards to your keyword rankings. So understanding what your business ranks for. Let's say that you have a roastery that is based in San Jose, California. The terms that you want to be looking at ranking for is, so if somebody went in and typed coffee in San Jose, You want to type in that term and see where you rank for something like that. And you should be working on creating content on your website that pushes you up those rankings. These are the kinds of analytics that are really, really important for you to start tracking. I hope this has been helpful. Now, if I can help in any way with regards to this stuff, if you're looking for a coach or a consultant to help with your business around this stuff, to even get you started, head to mapitforward.org/consulting. It can often simply just take a month or 2 months worth of coaching to get this done. Or consulting, sorry. The coaching is a minimum of 3 months, and you're usually good to go after 3 months. But anyway, check it out, mapitforward.org/consulting. Even if it's just to have a chat and see what it costs, we can always work something out if you do need help and it's not quite as affordable as you need it to be. Anyway, I'm here to help. mapitforward.org/consulting. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Head to our Instagram, at imapitforward. There's some fun stuff that we're posting right now, and I'm about to post just when we get off here. So talk soon. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.